Alright, so game 2 it is. The Headsman's Curse have the initiative from the roll-off, and he chooses to go first and activate the Scriptor to attack 3 on the lash with 2 hammers. 1 damage, but he fails to damage me, still gets to condemn me though. I play Unexpected Ally to have an extra supporting fighter with 3 on the lash in the next activation. And also Pain of Slaughter to have a reroll in the next activation step. And finally, I also play Fatal Flourish to give myself +1 damage, but I take damage if I fail an attack, and it persists until I succeed. I get 2 successes here versus the Sharpener in my first activation, and rerolls that hammer into a crit as well. So Sharpener is dead from the extra damage from the card there, and then the Flourish is discarded. I then play Blood Sigil on Calexis, the Silvered Blur, to have -1 damage. He then charges Thruala though, with Bearer of the Block, getting crit hit, and I fail to defend or damage reduce that one, so she is taken out of action. Sadly, he also scores Bound in Servitude for killing someone with a Chain Rasp. And here's the situation after his second activation. Then I activate Retaria and try to put a dent into the Bearer of the Block, getting 1 success. Only 1 dodge, and he rolls a shield, so that's 2 damage, and then I shove him into Lethal X, so even if they are flying, they still take damage if they are knocked into Lethal X's. I also stagger him, which is the inspired condition for her. And then Scriptor attacks Calexis. Yeah, he fails to get any successes there, but he still condemns me, which is kind of his thing here. I then go bold with Gryselle, trying to bring down the Scriptor, getting crit hit. So that is 3 damage and an inspired leader, since she inspires when she rolls a crit. And then Matthias plays Call to Heed to shove Calexis into the Stagger Hex there. So Calexis is condemned and also now staggered, not a good situation. Charges in with the Wielder on her. So that's 2 hammers and a reroll, getting a hammer. I forgot about the reroll, but I reminded him. Still rolls only 1 hammer. I failed to defend, and she's also killed, and another condemn counter for him. And with the Bladebound reaction, he brings back the Scriptor. Very sneaky. And then I play Piercing Stare on Traxia the Aegis, which is the shielded lady. He then played Damning Scream to stagger and condemn my leader. Has to be within 2 X's of a friendly Scriptor. And during Executor is played on... I'm actually not sure here. Anyway, I think it's on the Scriptor actually, because he reckoned I would attack the Scriptor. I don't though, I attack his leader. Getting a successful attack there. Yeah, that's just 1 damage. I shove him into the Stagger Hex there. And with the Piercing Strike, which is range 2, I can still attack him. So I have a reroll here on 2 dice. Getting no successes. initially at least, and the reroll is not a success either. And then I think the first end phase rolls around here. And he scores all rise for the second condition there. One enemy out of action and one friend fighter with raise counter. I score Bloody Show for all surviving enemy fights having a wound counter. Second round, he wins the roll-off and start with the bearer into Traxia. And fails, I play Lacerating Blow on Retaria, and then I charge onto the Scripter, getting a killing blow there, so I can't do the Lacerating Blow because I don't have anyone within range. I do score Acrobatic Assault for moving through the Scripter though, and successfully attacking him. Then I play Unquenchable Fervor, which allows me to damage reduce by 2. Then he plays Condemned Step Forward, switcherooing the bearer and Traxia and condemning her. And then he attacks her with Wielder, getting crit hit. I can't defend that. I could damage reduce it down to 0 though. I guess, but the Unquenchable Fervor still triggers, so she is alive on 1 wound. He plays Swift Judgment on his leader, which could give him extra condemned counters if he moves through me. I then charge Traxia with Traxia onto the bearer, getting a success, and he fails to defend that, so the bearer is actually taken out of action. And I score Dogged Determination for being vulnerable on an objective token in enemy territory. He plays You Must Serve to erase the bearer next to Gryselle. He then plays Helping Hands to have an extra supporting fighter in the next activation. He charges with a Wielder onto Traxia. Yep, and that's crit hit, so she dies and she was condemned, so all of his guys inspire. Bad news for me, obviously, but it was bound to happen. I then play Leaping Flourish, which is a big mistake, which I will talk about in a jiffy. I also must mention here that he accidentally took an extra activation in the second round, which also didn't help me here. I've sadly failed this attack here, which is not a wise decision. I stared myself blind on this card called Gory Reward, which allows me to get an extra glory, spent glory, if I successfully attack while having a persisting flourish. But failing that attack means that I have to charge to be able to attack, and I also had this search which I could score if I do 4 attacks, and now I can't do 4 attacks. So this is a very good showcase of always take the safe route. He then charges onto my leader to fail that attack, and then I draw power card in the next activation. He plays Cackling Nightmare on the Scripter, bound to him, so he can attack 2 times with range 3. Basically, he attacks my leader there with support from the bearer. He gets 2 successes. I only get 1 success, but since that only does 1 damage, I now reduce that round to 0 with the new errata. In his second attack though, with the Cackling Nightmare, he successfully attacks me, getting a wound on Gryselle. So sadly she's down to 3 wounds, which is not a good position for me to be in, and he also scores Eager Assistant for doing 2 successfully assisted attacks in a round, so that's a 2 glory search. Countless Familiar is played on my leader, and I also play Creeplash, which is a follow-up attack on her. and in the end phase he scores judge lest ye be judged. And then he sadly wins this roll-off as well, which is... I did really not need that to turn this one around. But a lot can still happen. He, though, gets a killing blow on Gryselle in the first activation here, so that's not a good position for me to be in. Retoria could still save things, though. I play Daring Flourish to have -1 defense but +1 dice. Persists until I successfully attack, as they play also Star Performer on her to have successful successes on both swords and hammers, basically. I charged the bearer there. And I sat with this objective that I needed to have only successful attacks here. So I have two successes, but not 3. And I just called it there. I played Gory Reward here because I wanted to get that spent glory. And this was also a bad decision because that meant I couldn't do the follow-up attack, which I needed to successfully do, basically, to score that objective I just talked about. I play Vicious Familiar on her. Doesn't really make a difference. Determined Brutality, so he chooses Ensnare here for his next attack. Then he attacks with Bearer, getting a success, and then he has to take away the non-success there, basically, but he still kills me. So some bad decisions here for me. And also that extra activation, which scored him that 2 Glory Search, was obviously very decisive. But still, I think he would have won this one. His final score is 13-8 here. I have no excuses, really. I should have done better. And versus an opponent that learns from his mistake in the first game, you really can't afford to let your guard down and have that kind of tunnel vision clouding your judgment, like I had with that Gory Reward Flourish extra little glory there in the second round. I should have just stayed to attack the bearer and get my 4 attacks in to score that search card, which was way more reliable. It's a good lesson to learn. Always play not safe necessarily, but more predictable. I mean, sometimes it's fun to go out on a limb, and I really didn't need to do it here, as the game was... It was still a back and forth at that point, and it could have gone either way. But me failing that attack, it was a clear case of things going down the drain there. So, but it's still a good thing to showcase, even though he had that extra activation in the second round, which kind of screwed things up even more. I think this game was still useful to showcase good and bad decisions, I guess. And he really utilized the script well in this game to condemn a lot, so he didn't stare himself blind on just landing killing blows. He made sure to have me condemned first, and so he did well. I did not so well. So hope you have enjoyed this voiced over battle report. I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye. This is Mats again, chiming in to thank you for watching the video. Please don't forget to subscribe, like and comment, and to not miss out on future content, ring the bell as well. And if you really liked this video, feel free to click the thanks button just below this video. And if you want to support me even further, you can now become a channel member and claim the title of Critical Focus Fan. Until next time, take care, bye.